Hello guys, this is Kabase. We are back with another figure unboxing video, or rather figure review, because most likely the unboxing sections of these videos are gonna be silent from now on. So again, like the Nana figure review, this is the formal introduction of this new style of my figure unboxing series. So the figures I have for today, I initially didn't thought I would get them, but seeing them cheap, I decided to buy them. This is a pair of figures. Haven't done that since my review on the Almia and Calcit noodle stoppers by Furyu. But yeah, the figures are Sumika Kagami 1/8 scale by Good Smile Company and Meiya Mitsurugi 1/7 scale by Kotobukiya. Again, and I swear it's just a coincidence going back to back videos with Kotobukiya figures. But anyways, both of these are based on the main girls of the Muv Luv series. Specifically, both are based on Muv Luv Alternative, which is one of the greatest VNs of all time, but obviously you already know that. Though, I don't know why the Good Smile Company Sumika is placed under the OG Muv Luv instead of Alternative, but okay. The specific height for this Sumika 1/8 scale is 7.8 inches or 200 millimeters from base to hair vents. And Meiya, despite being 1/7, is also around the 7.8 to 7.9 inches if we include the tippy top of her katana. So, in terms of price, I got this Sumika for the equivalent of a little over 30 bucks, and Meiya basically double that, so around 60. By the way, just so you know, I have no idea what they're going for, but from MFC, Sumika apparently shot up in price, so it seems I definitely got lucky to get her cheaply in that regard, but both are definitely brand new based on how I unboxed them and their listings on where I got them. So, from where the figures are based on, for Meiya, it's this illustration right here, and for Sumika, it's the iconic pose she does on the OG Love title screen, except instead of her uniform, it's in her TSF pilot suit. That's probably why they put it under the OG Mobla, but basically both of them are in their TSF pilot suits from Mobla Alternative. In terms of posing and choices of clothes, I'm very satisfied. When it comes to Sumika, I mean, it's in her iconic pose after all. So, as a fan, what more can I ask for? While her clothes are different from the original concept, this figure is natural to her, which I very much prefer in figures, and like this applies to Maya too, but like these suits just add a lot more detail, much more than if they were in their uniforms. And for me, at least, it's definitely one of the most dynamic poses of all the official artworks involving her. And man, I absolutely love how they handled this pose in figure form. The longer I look it up close, the more I appreciate the choices of this art being created into a figure. Now, before we continue with this new format, this will be based on my experience as a figure collector. So, if I sound amateurish in my review, sorry about that. For the boxes, both are the kind I'm very much used to. As always, it's probably the standard kind for scales from the late 2000s, early 2010s, and all that. And yeah, these figures are old, like 2009 and 2013, respectively. Windows on the front and sides, and previews on the back. And it's pretty standard in the blister packaging, with Sumika's box being a little bit compact and tough to damage. The Meiya box is an improvement from the boxes of my Kotobukiya Rins, but less protective than the box of my Dana figure, and that's understandable as Meiya is between the releases of those two examples right there. For the material, for Meiya, it's a PVC figure with some ABS, and for Sumika, it's purely PVC. Onto the base. For Sumika, it has a standard plasticky base, though I do think there's more effort into it, with it basically having hexagonal patterns, which is actually in line with Muv Luv and how Alternative uses hexagonal patterns in its design language. But I will say that it's definitely lightweight, so the figure is prone to wobbling. And for Mei, on the other hand, it's a round base, but it's definitely looks and feels tougher than plastic or the standard from what I've seen, if I can compare it to my other figures, with it being smooth to the touch and the colors based on the coating of her Takemikazuchi TSF, which is absolutely cool. In terms of stability though, the Meiya figure connecting the figure itself and the base disguised as a hair strand, and how the attachment is basically hard as fuck to remove once you pluck it in. So I really have no intention of ever removing it because I'm not taking the risk of breaking it. But like with that, it makes her really stable from what I'm seeing. It definitely looks like a figure that should be unstable because of the floating pose, but the hidden hair support gives it a surprisingly solid center of balance. I don't see this one leaning over time, so overall, 5 to 6 out of 10 for Sumika, and a 9 or even 9.5 out of 10 for Meiya in the stability department. Setting these figures up are completely different stories. For Sumika, it's just snap in the pegs of the leg onto the base, then the heart on her hands, and it's done. Easy. For Meiya, boy, it's a careful process, and there's a high possibility that you can break any of the fragile parts of this figure. That being the hair, the hand, the katana, and her hair tie. First, I'd put the katana, so remove the arm of the hand where she's holding the hilt of the sword, then insert the hilt onto said removed limb, then insert the sheath side to her other hand till it reaches the end of it, then carefully reinsert the limb back, and the hairpiece slash strand that acts as a base, which I will say again is fucking genius. Insert the top part of the hole onto her back and the bottom part on the base itself. I don't know if it's normal, but the standard for everyone else based on user pictures is that the bottom piece doesn't reach to the end entirely, so you can see a few millimeters of where the base would be at, but to give a benefit of a doubt, it's more so to align the hair naturally. And at least it's not noticeable enough until you look closer into it. So it's very much a nitpick from me. Again, with every step, you have to be very careful on this Meiya figure because you can potentially break any part, but it's very satisfying once you see it all assembled. Now my thoughts on what the character figure looks like. It's like the more I look closer on it, the more I like it less. So like how either or both have paint and some quality control issues. Considering these figures were in their boxes for a very long time, specifically over a decade now, I was definitely expecting some discoloration, and for Meiya, it's definitely everywhere. But the discoloration is directed noticeably on the white parts, but mostly her thighs, knees, back, and top part of her hair tie, with that last one having the only smudge and the most noticeable seam lines on the figure. And it's such a shame, really. Like, I want to go back in time to get this figure when it came out because the details are just absolutely immaculate. Like, the way the TSF suit looks absolutely fascinating, and seeing the full model of it and just how well they sculpted it is just really amazing. There are technically no visible seam lines because it's hidden in the lines of the suit. Despite the discoloration, I don't see any visible paint transfer. To like really nitpick, the hair is really good despite the lack of variety of shading, but I'm not really arguing about a figure made over a decade ago. The face might be a bit odd at first glance for others, and including me initially, but the more I look at it, I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty good stern and serious May expression. It fits her character well once you settle into it. Overall, I do think the sculpting and design choices for this figure is excellent. This is the most dynamic, cool, and definitely best Maya figure release. I'm just saddened that it's bogged down by basically cost by how long it was in the box. Now, to summarize, my issues with this Maya figure is probably just a storage thing, not a QC thing. Now, for Sumika, it's simple reading. My only complaints are the tiny scratches on the stomach and a very noticeable white spot that stretched to the right part of her stomach, which is a demerit. Both are definitely QC issues. But aside from that, like Kotobukiya with Meiya, Goodsman Company really did a damn good job with the sculpting and handling of the details of the TSFs, even the tiny UN and Special Task Force logos on her shoulder pads. Another demerit I would have is definitely the lack of overall detail as a figure, but it doesn't really show it because these issues are hidden by the fact that Sumika with the TSF suit is a detailed character design on its own and carries most of the visual appeal to me. In terms of my rating of the overall figures, the Sumika 1/8 scale by Goodsman Company is a solid 7 out of 10, and the Meiya 1/7 scale by Kotobukiya is a solid 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5 at best. Though if I bought it without the discoloration, it's probably like a 9.5, maybe even 10 out of 10 in my books. They are both really good scale figures, which I don't regret getting, and these are probably gonna be my only Sumika and Meiya figures in my collection. And that's pretty much it. I do think while the best Sumika figure is the one also by Kotobukiya, when it came to pose and size wise to pair with this Meiya, this Goodsman Company Sumika is the complementary figure. And that's another reason why I bought both figures. And yeah, that's the end of the video, I guess. Please subscribe and the notification bell so miss any of my videos. Just friend and watch these 6 right there. So yeah, more figure unboxings in the future since I still have a lot of figures to go through. So yeah, expect some more videos like this. So until next time, bye!